Learning English doesn't have to be boring. When you listen to stories, you learn new words and grammar without even noticing. That's the magic of storytelling. You enjoy the adventure, and your brain picks up the language naturally, like a sponge soaking up water. So while you're following today's crazy and fun travel story, you're actually getting better at English. That's how powerful stories can be. If you like this method, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Fluentory, and turn on notifications so you never miss another wild adventure. Jake didn't expect the day to end inside a tiny gift shop surrounded by shelves of magnets, postcards, and snow globes, but that's exactly what happened. It all started on a peaceful spring afternoon in a small mountain town in Austria. The sky had been perfectly blue, the air fresh and clean, and Jake was excited to hike around the old castle ruins perched on a hill above the village. He had spent the morning wandering through quiet cobblestone streets, sipping coffee at an outdoor cafe, and buying a small wooden souvenir for his friend back home. Everything felt calm, smooth, and slow. But that was about to change. As Jake strolled through the village square, admiring hand-painted signs and colorful flowers on the balconies, he noticed a few gray clouds rolling in from behind the hills. They looked harmless at first, just a soft cover to block the sun for a while. He checked his phone, but the weather app said nothing about rain, just clear skies and cool breezes. So he kept walking. He passed a bakery, a clock shop, and a group of tourists posing near a large fountain. Then he saw the perfect little gift shop. It stood on the corner of a quiet street, its window full of tiny ceramic cows, model trains, and chocolate bars wrapped in mountain-themed paper. Jake decided to step inside for just a moment, to browse and maybe find something funny or special. The woman behind the counter smiled and nodded as he walked in. The shop smelled like pine wood and cinnamon. Jake moved slowly between the shelves, looking at hand-carved keychains and snow globes with tiny skiers trapped inside. He picked up a small bell with a cow painted on it and grinned. But then, suddenly, the noise outside changed. It started like a whisper. A gentle tap-tap-tap against the windows. Then it got louder. Within seconds, the sound became wild and sharp, like thousands of marbles being dropped on a metal roof. Hail. Actual hail. Jake rushed to the window and stared. The sky was no longer gray, it was dark and angry. Huge ice pellets, the size of grapes, bounced off cars, pavement, and even a bicycle parked outside. People screamed and ran in every direction, covering their heads with bags and jackets. The square was completely empty in under a minute. The gift shop door shook from the wind, and the woman behind the counter quickly turned the lock. The lights inside flickered, and for a second, it felt like the entire world had shrunk to that little shop filled with trinkets and alarmed tourists. A group of 5 people, 2 kids, a couple, and an elderly man, had run in just before the storm hit. Everyone was silent, listening to the chaos outside. Jake was now trapped in a gift shop, hiding from the sky. He leaned against a shelf full of magnets shaped like pretzels and tried to make the best of it. He watched the hail bounce and smash, leaving puddles across the square. The storm felt like something from a movie, fast, furious, and strange. He thought about how unpredictable travel could be. One minute you're taking peaceful pictures of alpine flowers, the next you're watching ice fall from the sky like confetti gone wrong. He didn't mind being stuck, though. The shop was cozy and the people inside were calm. One little girl pointed to a stuffed bear on a high shelf and smiled. Jake smiled too. At least they were safe. The storm lasted longer than he expected. Almost half an hour passed before the sound began to fade and the light returned. The dark clouds rolled away just as quickly as they had arrived, leaving the ground soaked and glittering with melting hail. The shop owner unlocked the door and people stepped outside carefully. The street was full of small puddles and floating leaves. Jake stepped into the fresh air, the sun already beginning to shine again. He took a deep breath and laughed. That storm had turned his quiet day into a wild memory. Later that evening, as he sipped tea back at his guest house, Jake wrote down a few phrases he had picked up from the experience: caught off guard, trapped indoors, a hailstorm, and a sudden change in the weather. He realized how powerful these little expressions were, and how easy it was to remember them when they came from a real moment in his life. That's the power of learning through stories. When something surprises you, makes you laugh, or gives you a strong feeling, your brain remembers it better. And when you connect those feelings to English phrases, they stick with you forever. Today, without even trying, you practiced natural English, describing weather, talking about sudden changes, using past tense, and expressing feelings like surprise, fear, and relief. You learned expressions like, I didn't expect that, everything changed so fast, and we waited until it passed. These phrases are useful in real conversations, and now they're in your memory because you lived them with Jake. If you enjoyed this story, give us a like, subscribe to Fluentory, and tell us in the comments, have you ever been trapped somewhere by weather? Where were you and what happened? We'd love to hear your stories. See you in the next adventure, where you'll keep learning English, one wild travel moment at a time.